I almost said for Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Thank you for joining us today for another edition of this broadcast that we oftentimes say is a great way to learn about things that are happening all around this community. Huntsville, of course, has no shortage of resources when it comes to programs that are responsible for improving the lives of others. And today we're going to talk about a very special program right here in the city of Huntsville. Delighted to be able to introduce you today to two individuals. Elaine Dickson is the Executive Director of Christian Women's Job Corps. Welcome to Impact.
Thank you.
It's good to have you today. And Tony Massey is a board member of Christian Women's Job Corps. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, let's start from the very beginning, because I know that you are crazy in love with Christian Women's Job Corps and all the great work that's done and all the people that are helped because of it. But there may be a few people out there who are not familiar with this agency. Tell us what it is and what its mission is.
Okay. Well, Christian Women's Job Corps is a free job readiness program. And our mission is to move women towards self-sufficiency. That's it in a nutshell. There are so many other things that go along with the program, though. We have mentoring, we have classes, internships, and just all kinds of things to help, all kinds of services to help the women move towards self-sufficiency. For some of them, that might mean getting a GED. For others, it might mean going on to college. For others, it might be getting a job, an entry-level position somewhere, or getting a better job than what they have had in the past.
So it's all about improving quality of life.
Yes.
And
definitely.
giving women an opportunity to be able to benefit from many of the resources that are available out there to help them get to that next step in the process.
Yes.
Now, obviously, there must be some kind of qualification process to be able to be a part of this program, because you said one of our favorite words on this broadcast, free service.
Yes.
And, you know, whenever something's free and it's making people's lives better, you must have a large number of people that are trying to get in the program. What qualifies someone to be a part of this program?
Well, the first thing that we're looking at when we interview each applicant is, are they committed to the program? Are they really wanting to make life changes? And that is probably the most important thing that we're looking at. We do ask that they be drug-free for 6 months, and they have to meet certain qualifications to get into our GED program. They have to do a pre-test and read at a 5th grade reading level in order to enter that. Some of our other programs are for high school graduates, and so they would have to have a high school diploma to enter those programs. But as far as qualifications, our main one is we're looking for women that want to make positive changes in their life, and they're willing to put some effort into that.
So very much like Habitat for Humanity that talks about sweat equity.
Yes.
And the idea that we're not just going to build your house and put you in it, but we really want to see what your level of commitment and dedication is in that process. We want you to be fully invested in this thing that's going to be a part of your journey and your success.
Yes, and a lot of people may think that we are a job placement agency, and we're not that. We want the ladies that come into our program to go through some intensive work in the classroom setting and a mentor phase before they go into the workforce. And so that's what they're putting into the program. It's not something that someone just calls us and we get them a job. We need to know that person and know a lot about them and know what their work ethic is before we can refer them to another company to get a position.
So is there an application cycle?
Yes, they would fill out an application, which is available on our website. They turn the application in, and then they are called with their appointment for their interview. They're interviewed by the site coordinator of whichever site they have chosen, and the site coordinator makes the decision on who will come into the program.
And how long has this organization been around? It's a little bit of a trick question, because I have a little history with Christian Women's Job Corps. I was one of the original board members.
You were.
Way back in the day. So
yes. So do you remember 1998 was the year?
Yeah, I knew it was around that time somewhere, yes, because I was in between jobs. I had just left UAH. I had just started my business, and I was about to go to work for Calhoun for the first time. So I knew it was somewhere in that period of time. But it was exciting to know that this kind of initiative was happening right here in our city. And there was a group of people who were saying, you know, we want to pour into the lives of people in such a way that we can establish the potential for self-sufficiency, which is a word that we hear across the board. And Tony, every good organization has a great board of directors. I mean, it's like
to think so.
You know, you guys as board members, you're the heart and the soul of organizations. And I can't say enough as a person who served on boards before, and certainly am really fully vested in community service and improving the quality of lives for other people. The idea that you've taken this opportunity as a chance to be a part of something important, something special. What attracted you to this opportunity? Because obviously you're a busy person like everyone else. And busy people have to make choices about what they get involved in. So what makes it right for you?
Well, I've only been on the board about a year now, but when Elaine approached me, one, I saw her passion. Miss Ann Stone and her approached me, and I saw their passion for the women of Madison County. And being a male, I thought, what can I bring to a Christian Women Job Corps opportunity? And I just saw the need for more positive role models from the male perspective. And then it was an opportunity for me to use some of the gifts that I have to help people in the area.
Right. And, you know, I know that as board members, Elaine, you're probably like most other organizations that are very careful about who they invite to be members of the board. And I don't say careful in a kind of protective way. I kind of go back to what you said about the women that you recruit to this program. You want women who are really interested in moving from point A to point B. You also want board members who are interested in the mission of the organization. So do you go through a screening process or a discussion process? How does that happen?
We do. We get suggestions from other board members of who might make a good board member. One thing about our board of directors that I'm very proud of is that our board members don't just show up every once in a while and make a vote on something. They're very actively involved in our organization. They're active in the fundraising part. Tony, for instance, has done some mock interviews with our students, and we do that in our career class. We have the students dress up just as if they were going to a real interview, and they interview for a pretend job, and Tony and some of the other interviewers will ask the questions of them, and then they will rank them on how well they did in the interview. And so he got hands-on experience. He got to actually interact with some of our students last semester to see how he could help them, and it was a really good experience for you.
It really was.
And, you know, I think you're making an excellent point here because from my own personal experience, I know that board members who are given specific responsibilities, who have a very clear sense of purpose and identity with regards to what they're supposed to be doing, typically make far better board members and far better agencies as a consequence of that. Because like you said, you're not just showing up to vote, even throwing money at the process.
Right.
You're actually in there, getting to interact with the participants in the program, to learn from the inside what really matters and what really goes on. And I'd say that has to be very important.
It is. It's been really life-changing for me as a board member, just seeing the commitment that these women have to making life changes. And I really find it a challenge to support them, and it's really a life-changing experience for me also.
Yeah. You know, Christian Women's Job Corps has been around now for a while.
Yes.
And you guys are actually, wow, close to 20 years in operation, and that's got to say a lot for longevity and staying power with this type of an organization. It's got to be exciting every time you all go out and start the recruitment process. And I'm sure you see a lot of people who are interested in the process, but you all, you know, always have to whittle that group down.
Right.
And we talked about some of the key things that you look for in people, but you also talked about the whole notion of mentoring and the mentoring relationship. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit because in most organizations and even in life, you know, if the truth be told,
Yes.
People, I think, have the best opportunity to achieve and move on to the next level when they're under someone's guidance.
Yes.
You put somebody under the wings, and that person kind of guides them and shelters them and opens their eyes and provides valuable insight. I imagine your mentors operate in the same way. Who are these mentors that you identify to work with the students?
Well, we recruit a lot of our mentors from the local churches because we are a faith-based organization, but anyone I know or a friend of a friend, if I find out about them and feel like they would be a good mentor, then we invite them to be a part of our program. We do train our mentors. We don't just throw them into the situation. We give them an understanding of our mission for our ministry and what we're doing and how they should represent themselves as a mentor of Christian Women's Job Corps. And what I've heard is as far as the evaluations of our students is they are excited about the hands-on experience on the computers and the classes and the practical help they get, but the thing that is most important to them are the relationships that they form with their teachers and with the mentors and with the staff at the program. And just for some of them, they've never had someone in their corner to say, you can do this, or you know, I think you should step outside of your comfort zone and do this. And the mentor challenges the ladies to do that, and supports her, and is kind of like a cheerleader for her when that process is going on.
What happens, and I imagine this happens regularly, when women come to the program and they have children perhaps, and there are daycare issues or childcare issues, are you able to move around those kinds of challenges in terms of the women that you work with? And does that somehow serve as a strength of the program also?
Well, to a certain extent, we can help with those daycare issues. We are fortunate in that we have partnered with 100X Church, and they provide daycare scholarships for our students.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
My
and
good friend Bruce Martin.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And so they are able to help those that can't afford childcare to get the scholarships for while they're in the program, and they even have the scholarships last a few weeks after the program, so that they have time to transition out of our program and maybe find a job or go on to the next step. And this is one of the big barriers, that and transportation are two of the biggest barriers that our students have in making it through our programs. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to take away those barriers as much as possible.
How do you confront the transportation one? Because that's a big one in a lot of arenas around this community.
It is. One thing that we're able to do is through grants, we're able to purchase bus tickets, and if they are on the bus route, 3 of our sites, our 3 Huntsville sites, are on the bus route, and so if a student lives on the bus route, they can get transportation to our locations. We have one new location in Madison that we just opened up. So we do that. Sometimes volunteers have brought students to the classes, and if it weren't for the volunteers, those students would not make it. That's a big need for us, is volunteers to transport students.
You know, you talked about mentors, you talked about volunteers, you talked about board members, you talked about people that have a vested interest in the process. And I have something, you mentioned 100X Church, mm-hmm. one of my favorite groups in town, by the way. But you mentioned all these different groups of people, and you made me think about something that I always say, and that's teamwork makes the dream work, and together everyone can achieve more. When people don't care about who gets the credit for something, but we're just simply in this process of helping other people achieve their dreams, and nobody cares whose name is up in lights, people can put aside their egos and put aside their desire for whatever they may want in terms of recognition, and people can really get the help that they need. And partnerships, I imagine, like the 100X Church partnership, is essential to your ability to provide these services. Do you have other partnerships, or perhaps there are people listening this afternoon or this evening that might be interested in reaching out to you, and are you exploring those kinds of things as well?
We do. One of our partnerships is with Calhoun Adult Education. They are a very strong partner with us. They help us score our tests. They share curriculum with us. And they're just a great resource for us. We do offer GED tutoring at one of our locations, and so we're thankful to have them as one of our partners. Another thing that I'm really excited about is Christian Women's Job Corps is part of a coalition. And it's fairly new. It just started, I would say, last year. It's called Wheels for Working. Wheels, the number 4, working. And we have a website for that and a Facebook page. And the basic premise of that is that we wanted to bring nonprofits together that are working with the working poor and help them find resources for transportation. And we know it's not one answer for every person. So one of the things that we do is we partner, St. Vincent de Paul is one of the sponsors of this, in the coalition, and they help with car repairs for those that are working. They provide some of the money and match the money for car repairs. They also have vehicle donations. When a working vehicle is donated, they will put someone on the waiting list to get a vehicle. We also have at Christian Women's Job Corps our own car ministry, where if someone donates a vehicle to us, we will turn that over to a qualified graduate of our program. So we didn't want to start another nonprofit because there are plenty of nonprofits in the community, but we wanted to have a coalition. So we meet once a month and we talk about different ways to help people get to work, get to where they need to go. One of the things we've done is we've gotten a Phoenix Industries is part of it, and they have gotten a wheelchair, a handicap accessible taxi that takes people where they need to go. So we're just trying to explore a lot of different opportunities because we know that transportation is, again, one of the biggest barriers when you're trying to get a job or keep a job.
You know, I'm about to jump out of my seat over here. You mentioned Calhoun Community College, where I worked for 16 years. You just mentioned Phoenix, which was my first job out of college, and I worked with them for 12 years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
it's like a
love that.
homecoming all of a sudden, and 100X Church again. And
Yeah.
I mean, this is great, though. But the reality is this, that when we think about all of these different ways in which the community is connected and all of the opportunities that are presented, because people just decide we want to come together and get a room and talk about what's best for the people that we serve. There's no limit to what you can accomplish.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that you're seeing that right now. It's got to be incredibly gratifying to see these women complete the program. I want you to maybe personalize it for a moment to those that are listening and perhaps getting excited about the possibility of applying for this program and saying, you know, this program is an answer to my prayers, it's an answer to my dreams, it's an answer to this ambition that I have, or this promise that I made to somebody, and I just haven't quite figured out how to make it happen just yet. Talk about it from the personal perspective of you having witnessed women graduate from this program and move on to something else in their own lives.
Well, I can think of lots of stories, but one of the ones in particular that I have thought of is a student that moved here from out of state. She did not have her GED, so she attended our GED site and was brought to school 3 days a week by a volunteer because she had no transportation. She, as a result of being in our program, passed the GED and has gone on to, she is now working for the Madison County in the jail system. She's working there. She wants to start her own nonprofit to help troubled women. But she has gone on and gotten her education, has gone back to school, has come back and spoken to the new students to encourage them at our orientation. And she's just come a long way. But I think one of the things that was just kind of, I don't know, just spoke to me was when she came back to talk to the students, and then later we were talking one-on-one, and she said, you know what? Now I can go in the grocery store and I can buy my groceries and I don't have to be on food stamps because that's how she started out. And she said, and now if I have to have dental surgery and I have insurance to cover that, I don't have to get help to have that dental surgery. Those things are huge for women that have not had those opportunities before.
And the whole notion of self-sufficiency, I mean, is so tied into how one feels about themselves, their self-esteem, and their ability to just face the public every day.
Yeah, I was just to piggyback on what Elaine just said. So at our monthly board meetings, Elaine started presenting one of those stories. And man, it has truly inspired the board to just, I mean, when you see success, it just makes you want to go that much harder. So yeah, those success stories are a really great inspiration.
Yeah, you know, and when you personalize it, you make it more than just, you realize that it's more than just a statistic.
That's right, yeah.
You know, people are more than a sum total of the numbers. There's flesh and blood behind those stories. There's humanity behind those stories. There's sensitivities and sensibilities behind those stories. And when you recognize that what you're doing in terms of the work that you're doing, that you're committed to doing, is you're helping another person move to a place that they never even dreamed of. Right. You know, it's a humbling thing because, you know, for whatever successes one may have, and I'll just take myself, whatever successes I've had, there's something that went into that process to make that happen. I didn't do it all by myself. And so anybody can look from whatever vantage point they have, wherever they stand, and see if they're honest with themselves, how they got to where they got. And when you think about it that way, it's almost like, well, what small sacrifice can I make? Right. In order to help another person in their life. And this is exactly what I think Christian Women's Job Corps stands for. It's a very exciting program. It's a very energizing program. I think it's a program full of vision and opportunity, and that's something that we love to talk about and promote on this broadcast. Women that are listening this afternoon, and they're thinking about it, and they're just excited about hearing this opportunity that they may not have been aware of up to now. What might they do to perhaps begin planning and preparing, other than maybe look at the website and familiarize themselves with the program? What might they personally begin doing if they would consider reaching out and applying for this program?
Well, they can apply, they can fill out the application right now. We are in our fall semester, but we do a semester twice a year. So we'll get started on a spring semester, January, February, depending on the sites. And they can go ahead and fill out the application and have that part done. If they wish to come and visit me and ask more questions, or our administrative recruiter, they're welcome to come to my office, which is at 600 Governor's Drive. It's in the First Baptist Church building, and I'm in room 108. And they can also call me or call our administrative recruiter. My number is 256-428-9435. And Sharmika, our administrative recruiter's number is 256-428-9461.
Yeah, and I think I came to your ribbon cutting last year.
Yes, you did.
And of all the many things that happened, once again, was able to reconnect with this wonderful organization that's doing so many great things in the community, and we're just so happy that you are. Again, women that are listening this afternoon can take those numbers down. They can begin reaching out if they need to. They can apply right now. This is an ongoing process, and it sounds like anything that you can do to assist them in the process of understanding what this journey is all about, you're willing to do, which I think is a big part of the whole process.
Yeah.
Tony's a board member. You're young to the board, or new to the
That's
board,
correct.
relatively new to the board. And obviously it has paid off for you so far.
Yes, sir.
As you look down the line, what do you, as a board member, where do you see this organization going?
Well, as a board member, some of the things that we are concerned about is, the numbers, how many students are being helped, donations, how the funding, all those kinds of things. So we're looking to continue to grow this program and expand it. We don't want to grow too fast and become ineffective, but we want to grow at a steady rate where we can really have an impact to the women of Madison County.
Yeah, that's great. And I know you mentioned the whole idea about volunteer opportunities, and people may be listening this afternoon. In our last maybe minute or so, I'd like you to be able to tell us if you have a website. I mentioned Facebook earlier, the phone number one more time so people can get that information, because I know with everything you said today, they're really excited out there about the information that you've shared, and they want to know more about it.
Yeah, and I would like to mention that we have a fundraiser on October 22nd at the North Hall of the Civic Center. We're going to hear from Elizabeth Huntley, who is a lawyer in Birmingham and has a great success story herself, and so we're excited about that. And they can go on our website for more information. Our website is just simply cwjc.net. And then my phone number is 256-428-9435.
All right. Elaine, Dickson, Tony, Massey, thank you for being here once again. Do you have a Facebook page?
We do. It's Christian Women's Job Corps of Madison County, so please like us on Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. Like that page, share that page, get connected
Yes.
in a way that you can stay on top of what's going on, and that'll be a good thing for people to know. Elaine Dickson, she's the Executive Director of Christian Women's Job Corps. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Tony Massey is a board member. Years to come, maybe,
Yes,
perhaps,
sir.
at least
Looking forward
hope
to
so.
it.
several terms. Yeah, why not? I mean, it's a great opportunity and
Yes,
lots
sir.
of good things happening. Thank you both for being here today and sharing this great information with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for being with us today and being a part of our broadcast. As always, it's a delight and a privilege to be able to share information with you about what we're doing right here in this great city that you live in. I'm Kenny Anderson, as always, for Impact. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon.